about your journey.
Wow, I'm so thankful that you invited me on this show, and I know your story, and I'm just blessed to have met you. We haven't met in person.
Not yet.
I'm blessed to have met you virtually.
Correct.
We know everybody virtually these days. But yeah, my story's, it's interesting. When you told me the time frame, I was like, my story's so long because I feel like I've been on this journey for so long. But in my early 20s is when the whole thing really started. I had struggled with eating disorders as a child. I was a gymnast. And then in my early 20s, I realized it was so bad that my health was deteriorating. I actually had been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, Crohn's disease.
Okay.
And then I also had been diagnosed with bipolar 2. And I was having chronic panic attacks on a regular basis. And then along that journey, I went to a lot of different psychologists and therapists, and then I started changing my health habits and started incorporating more fruits and vegetables, started incorporating more movement and educating myself. So at that time, I was about 175 pounds, and I was very overweight, but I was also very sick in mindset and just really depressed and anxious. The eating disorders were out of hand. I was throwing up multiple times a day.
Oh, wow.
Which is something most people don't talk about. And I actually struggled with eating disorders up until maybe about a year and a half ago. And so that was in my early 20s, and I'm 39 now. So that road has been very long.
So let's go back a little bit, because I am hoping that someone that's listening today is going to listen to your story and try to relate. So first of all, gymnastics, not an easy sport, okay? It's something that you basically, from very young, right? You sacrifice everything. You sacrifice your social life, you sacrifice your personal life, a lot of sacrifice through that. And I always, the coach in me is like, I'm always kind of like trying to get to the bottom of some things, but people need to understand that is a sport that a lot of strength has to be there, but a lot of sacrifice gets placed in. Do you ever go back and look at that sacrifice and all that stuff that you went through that kind of created a little bit of that pattern for you in your 20s to have that?
Yeah, it started very young. The reason I actually quit gymnastics was my coach had told me that I was too big and that I was overweight at the time. So I retired at 12 because I was crying every day and just frustrated that I couldn't change my body. And
Wow.
at the time, at 12, my mom was just feeding me and I was working out 3 hours a day. So I know that all of the eating disorder mindset, maybe not all of the actions, hadn't started yet because I didn't really know what to do with it, but the self-sabotage and all the negative thoughts were already going on at that very young age.
Yeah, because you have a dream, right? Your gymnastics, if you are good at it, it's fun. So all of a sudden you go through, I'm going through this depression and I'm not happy. And and at 12, 13 years old, girls go through such a transition during those teenage years, and then you're going through like, I was happy and then someone's making me upset and then taking my dreams away. So I have to believe that's a little bit to it. So at your 20s, you finally start getting to a point that you're realizing that you actually have some things even worse, right? And then, and you told me a little bit, so the autoimmune was basically fighting against your own body,
right,
to become healthy. Now, and you stopped exercising, or did you still try?
I was trying to exercise. I just didn't go to the bathroom but once every 7 days, maybe 5 days on a good round. And so I felt sick a lot. And that's one of the reasons I became very overweight. I didn't move as much, and then I ate a lot of trash foods because one of the eating disorders, but then also anything with fiber and vegetables, it hurt my stomach.
Correct.
Because it would sit there. And so I ate a lot of really bad food, which is also not very good for the brain. So I think that also my gut was the reason I actually was having issues with like panic disorder and anxiety.
And and interesting because you're 5'2". How tall are you? 5'2"?
5'3".
5'3". So 5'3", 175, right? And then you're adding muscle.
It wasn't muscle.
No, but you add muscle to it. So remember, the muscle even pushes it more. So you look, and remember that then you have the body image that you see yourself, and you're like, what happened to this little girl, right? It's like you kind of, the morph. So, and the one thing I always share with people that I learned through cancer is I always believe disease starts in the gut, in the digestive system. So I've studied nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not, trust me, I'm not. There's nothing, that wasn't my major. I was a double major, but that wasn't it. But it's interesting how I even knew that before cancer, and, but at the same time, I understand that the more you contract that and you just kind of block certain things, all of a sudden there's things in your body that your body cannot combat, and all of a sudden then you have diseases, and sometimes even terminal. And if you don't do like what you did, I don't believe, what I'm saying, some people won't make it through it because other diseases come through, from diabetes to cancer to heart conditions to things like that, right?
Absolutely. The habits that I developed over time made all the difference in the world. I mean, I always tell people I started with taking fruits and vegetables in capsule form. That was the only way I could take them in. Otherwise, it made me sick. And then from there, my gut healed by being able to have something that was already broke down. Wow. So like maybe if I would have tried smoothies or something, but I didn't even like the taste of vegetables, I think that my gut would have healed just somehow to get the produce and goodness into my stomach. But I wasn't absorbing nutrients at the time, so it needed something that was already broken down.
Correct. Now, when did you stop? So you said a year and a half ago. Now, but let's go back a little bit because you missed a little bit of the fun part. You competed. Now, I've been hosting fitness shows for over 2 decades. I know I look 25, but it's okay. But I've been hosting shows since I was 19 years old, fitness shows. And I was the voice of Fitness Universe. Then I've been with this amazing promoter for the last 10 years of my life. We've hosted over 30 shows together. And you competed in a fitness show, right?
Yeah, 10 years ago.
So how was that experience, especially dealing with the body imaging and dealing with the, with the whole thing of the digesting and all that stuff?
It was a very interesting experience. I went from being 175 pounds at my biggest, and then when I went to get a coach to try to do a bikini competition in a bodybuilding show, he put me on a very strict diet. Well, at the time, anything I ate that wasn't inside the diet, I just threw it up. So
wow.
I would eat the diet and then throw up. But I went from about 140 when I met him to 105 on stage. And I was just super, super tiny, but at the show, I went and did my morning show, went and binged and purged in between, and then went and did the night show. So everybody was looking at me as if, oh my goodness, you're the picture of perfection, and I was a wreck inside my brain. And I knew that this was not the answer. I thought the answer was getting the outside to look better, but the answer was not. I needed to work on my head.
So I want you guys to understand something, and I'll listen. I'll extend it. I don't care. Because I really want people to understand. There's so many facets to you, Chas, that I felt the need to share and give you a platform. But more importantly, for you to be truth. Share your truth, right? Again, think about what she's saying. So she's 105 pounds. Now, the ideal weight for a woman at 5'3" is 115. That's about with muscle. Men are usually a lot heavier, of course. It's just maybe an extra pound, 120 something at 5'3". But we're 5'3", usually 115. So she was actually underweight. But if you see the picture, it's actually in her poster, you see how lean she is. Probably not as much more muscle as she could have had, but because she was malnourished, probably she could have gained that extra muscle. If she probably just kept a little bit, she probably would have been 115 with muscle. So, but think about what people are saying to her, and I want you to understand that. Oh, you look beautiful. You are perfection. You are the image of perfection, and you are dying inside. You're sick inside. It's playing a game in your brain, right? So then, did you win the show? Because you did look good.
No, I was actually in California, and it turns out like nobody knew me there because I lived in Georgia at the time when I moved out there. And I didn't have, the interesting thing is I did 2 shows. The first one I think I got 3rd, the second one I got 4th. They said I would have won, but I didn't have big boobs.
Oh, it was another image thing. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so I wasn't perfect still.
So again, but third and fourth,
Yeah, it was
and you had no idea. This industry, remember, you got to learn the steps. You got to learn the right people, the right coaching. Okay, so I've been a coach, so I know. But the funny thing is, so third and fourth in bikini, got down to 105. Then what happens? Because this is the moment that I always tell my clients, I spend so much time trying to get them from not going down into a depression, from not dropping themselves after a show. It's like you have this high, and all of a sudden you go into this low. So I want someone else to share that with us today.
Yeah, I did 2 shows back to back, about 2 weeks apart. So it was as if the training didn't stop and I got to continue that high. And after that second show, it was like a complete downward spiral.
Yeah.
Because I started gaining weight back, we started adding food, and I just went into a depression, and eating disorders were nonstop. I was supposed to do another show, and every time I got on the phone with my coach, all I did was cry. And he pulled it. He just told me, he said, you're not mentally ready to do another show. You need to heal for what happened. And I never stepped on stage again.
And that's okay. But
Yeah.
but here's the funny part is, you know, when and I'm not nothing against anybody, no coach, but I'm just saying, here's the line where you have to be careful. As a trainer, I became a trainer at 19 years old. 18, 19, I got certified. I looked at being a trainer as someone that I have the privilege of training someone, but I also have the responsibility of someone's life and livelihood. I can get you hurt and your whole life is over, meaning your livelihood, the way you go by your day-to-day things, right? And as a manager of gyms, I started managing at 22, all the way to just 7-8 years ago. All the health clubs I managed, my trainers, I was very specific about who I wanted as a trainer, and I told them this is how you should look at a client, not as just whatever, right? And what he said to you doesn't apply to you. That is a blanket statement, because no one after a show, no one, win, lose, or draw, feels ecstatic because there's nothing else. I've learned that. So I've had champions of people that won their pro card overall. They still go to depression. So what I've learned is to give them something else to go after. If it's a photo shoot, if it's an interview, if it's something, so they can stay focused, break through that 1 week or 2 weeks, so they can just get into another pattern, right? That wasn't shared with you.
Nope, not at all.
So you go from a bikini contest, then you hit another exercise phase or fad, but it's not a fad, it stayed. And one of my best training partners, I call her my sister in Christ, she lives here with her husband in Miami Beach, and she was my favorite partner. She was a pro figure competitor, never lost a show, and she ended up leaving me for CrossFit, so I get it. But anyway, go ahead and tell me how that come about.
I moved to Florida from Georgia, and in 2013, someone told me that I looked like a CrossFitter, and from my mentality, I thought they were putting me down because I didn't know what it meant. And then I looked it up and found a CrossFit gym close to me and tried it, and from the first time I walked into the gym, it just made sense to me. I knew I loved lifting weights from the bodybuilding world, and
Gymnastics.
I knew I loved gymnastics, and I loved being competitive.
Yes.
Now, and in this gym, there were no mirrors. And so it was like my mind was blown that I could now compete and do everything I love, and I just went full force crazy, drank Kool-Aid, couldn't talk about anything else. All my friends were annoyed. And then 5 years later, I went to
You drank the Kool-Aid and you got it, yeah. But it's funny. It's funny because that's the truth. But here's the difference. Like I always say, CrossFit is for athletes. So someone with a gymnastics background, someone with a bodybuilding background, somebody with that, or football players or anything, I think sure. Because you know what? If you're going to keep eating the same way, you better be burning the same calories. So I get that. I understand it. I've already talked to enough people. I've interviewed enough people to know that. But for the regular person, I've never recommended it just because it depends on the coaching. And I think that each box, they call them boxes, by the way, CrossFit, for people that don't know, CrossFit boxes, each box has their own coaches. I think some of them are phenomenal. I think some of the coaches are great. and they will take care of you and make sure they baby you, until you get to another level. But some of the other ones, like gyms, same thing with gyms. You got good ones, bad ones, trainers, good ones, bad ones. So it's not to blame anyone. But anyway, so you go into CrossFit, you find your thing. But you mentioned something that I wanted to make sure that I share. A year and a half ago, you said you were still dealing with this stuff.
Yes.
So what was it? I know it's a mind thing. What was your mind telling you that you couldn't, that you just couldn't overcome it, or at that time?
It was more of and it's interesting. It was more. I had to be honest about it. So to me, it was an addiction, and I wouldn't admit it.
Okay.
And I went through EDA, but then also I went through a program where the leader of the program said the most powerful person in the room is the one that has nothing to hide. And it was a coaching program, and it just blew my mind that I realized I was hiding something still. Because even though I was really open about all kinds of things that had happened to me, and I was dealing with, like, I had dealt with eating disorders and this and that, I never mentioned that I was bulimic, and that was what I was hiding. And that was what I could keep hidden. Because my outside looked okay. I was a CrossFit athlete. And then I was a bodybuilder, and I was a gymnast, but bulimia, you can eat all you want, and then I would just throw it up, but I wasn't gaining weight. I was okay, and I just realized I couldn't hide it anymore. So I literally tattooed authentic on my arm, tattooed set free on my wrist, and said I'm never going back.
Amen. I'm grateful that you mentioned that, because I believe in therapy. I believe in coaching. My mom's a psychologist. I'm a life coach. I'm a breakthrough coach, and I truly believe that your story will set you free. I believe in your story revealing your purpose, but I also believe it will set you free. And until the day, you don't know what that feels like until you finally do it. I mean, I can't tell you what to do. It's almost like I can take you to church. That doesn't mean you're going to become a Christian. It's the same philosophy. You got to want to change. You got to want to accept it, Now today, today you do so much. I mean, you have a team together, you do nutrition coach, you have a dietitian on staff, you provide coaching and programs online, you do training as well, don't you do some training?
It's all nutrition.
All nutrition, okay. And you live in Florida, and you're happy here and all that stuff, and you have your dog. I know your doggy is awesome to you, and so you're doing okay right now. You finally figured out this is it. But have you thought about how much damage you've done to your insides, and you're taking a step to make it better?
Absolutely. Honestly, it's really interesting because of all the habits that I've incorporated over the years. I used to not even have hair. Like, my hair would break off here, and now it is actually longer. And then I would get sick all the time. So I think over time, I'm actually changing the damage that I've done. Because it was so severe a long time ago. It was just that I was still dabbling in it. I hadn't let it go until a year and a half ago. And I was just like, it's over, I'm done, I'm not going back there. And I'm not going to deal with anxiety and depression or issues with sedating that way. So I think over time, I'm actually healing because of all the habits that I've developed during this whole time. It took a long time to develop each habit, but I'm getting healthier as I get older, which is very rare. Lots of fruits and vegetables, though. Lots of produce.
Yes. And you mentioned your age, so I can kind of say that.
Yeah.
You don't look you don't even look 30. You look very, very young. So certainly that lifestyle has turned your whole life around. And I think I'm really grateful that you were able to share your story. It's not an easy thing to do. I know I do it every day. It's not easy. Trust me, just because it looks like I'm okay, trust me, every time I share my story, I'm going right back to those moments. Now, one thing about this show that I love to do is one word. I ask my guests to give me one word. Now, it doesn't have to be the normal word, because again, we're in the season right now. Now, thank God for this right now. I didn't have to ask you that, because in this season, you're pretty virtual anyway. You're coaching people online and everything, so a lot hasn't changed on that. Except now that they're home, you have to kind of like give them the little whip to make sure, hey, don't be eating those, whatever. I don't want to give, Krispy Kreme donuts. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, I'm not perfect, but just don't buy the big box because you'll eat it all. Just buy the little one. So tell me one word that you think that can give people, get them out of bed. Because here's the thing, Chas, a lot of people right now can't get out of bed. I mean, I've been talking about this with all my guests. I don't want to repeat myself, but it's the truth. I'm getting texts from people that have so much anxiety, they can't get over it. They don't know how to deal with this. They don't know what tomorrow brings. And I said, well, you can't control tomorrow, so do what you can today. And that's how I live my life. I can't go far 6 months from now. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. For me, the way I feel God's giving me this bonus life, I want it just one day at a time. But I can't make people do that, right? But what's one word that you can give us that's going to give our audience just some inspiration and some hope today?
Well, the word that I think of every day and that I kind of live by is light.
Light.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me why.
The reason is I think that if you've been through anything, no matter what it is, and what I find is everybody's been through something.
Yes.
Then you're called to be a guiding light to people. Because if you don't get out of bed and shine your light and share your story, then you're not going to help those people that are in the darkness. So as soon as you open your eyes, if you think light, because you are that light for other people, you have to go forward and share that in the world. Otherwise, you're leaving people in darkness.
Wow. I was not expecting that. Thank you for that. And thank you for your time today. And thank you for sharing your story and giving us a little bit of an insight on Chas Snowden. So her word was light, and it makes me think of service. It makes me think of serve. We are meant to serve, right? She says, if you open up your eyes, you have a responsibility for the people that are going through darkness. Think about that. It's your responsibility to shine a light on others when you don't have your own light inside. But that's something you have to think about. Because if you serve somebody, that brings back something in return. I've always said, if you need love, give love. If you need money, give money. If you need something, give it. Give what you have to others, and you'll find out the blessing is right on the other side. I love that word, and I'm so grateful that she shared it with us. It's a word that I wasn't even thinking about. So it's awesome that through this journey, I'm learning about words and I'm learning about messages that I hope that others are finding hope in them. So today, be a light to others. Find that light. But here's the thing. She said, open up your eyes. As soon as you open up your eyes, be grateful and know that you have something to do today. So find that light and shine it up on others. This has been another segment of Life Changes for Life. And again, it's such a blessing to have an amazing guest like Chas Snowden that has overcome so much in life. I hope you follow her and I hope you learn a lot more from her. She certainly is a life changer. And I never end the show without saying, find hope, have faith, and live every day with purpose. We certainly are. God bless you guys.